It's time for the Dane by Local podcast, Let's Get Local. Each month, we'll feature DBL members and hear their stories. So let's jump into our next episode.
Welcome back to another edition of Let's Get Local here for Dane by Local. I'm Jason Hafman, your host, the outreach manager over at Project Home and a Dane by Local board member. This month, we're really excited to be featuring Community Shares of Wisconsin, and I have Cheri with me today. So Cheri, tell us a little bit about Community Shares.
Sure. My name is Cheri Dubiel, and I'm the Executive Director at Community Shares of Wisconsin. And we have been around for close to 50 years. Next year will be our 50th anniversary. And Community Shares has a long history of working on the front lines of social change and working with local nonprofits who are organizing to make specific systemic change to ensure that all the great opportunities that some of us enjoy in this country are available to everybody. So we have been working as a fundraising federation now for those years, and we focus on supporting around 70 nonprofits who are working on both social and environmental justice. And so the role of Community Shares in this work is to bring all of these groups together regularly, to help them raise money to build their movements, also to provide any kind of technical support or capacity building support as well.
Well, that's a big job, I would say, for any organization. How do you? How is Community Shares able to kind of embody all of that and make sure that all of its members really have the support they need?
Yeah. Well, I think that what is unique about Community Shares versus other types of federated organizations like ours are that our member groups are the leaders of Community Shares. So each of our member groups has a seat on our board of directors, which puts them right in the decision-making power for all that we do at Community Shares. And so that engagement, that commitment to their voice being the main voice that is heard at Community Shares is what we believe continues to allow us to grow and to build and to make a stronger movement here locally.
That's amazing. I mean, that's a great way to go about it. And so regardless the size of the organization, whether it's a two-person organization or 50, they all have the same representation.
Exactly. Regardless of the size of the budget, regardless of the number of staff, every full member of Community Shares of Wisconsin has a seat on the board of directors. And the way that that we're able to fund this work is through the great fundraising work that we've been doing for many, many years. You may know us through workplace giving. Community Shares has been part of workplace giving for a number of years. So if you're at an employer who offers a workplace giving campaign, look for Community Shares. And if your employer does not offer a Community Shares campaign, please give us a call or check us out. We'd be more than happy to work with you on including us. Other ways that we raise funds for Community Shares in our member groups include the CHIP program at the Willie Street Co-op. And so it may not seem like a big deal when you check out at the co-op to throw in those extra few cents when you're asked to chip. But the thousands of people who do that every year add up to this past year, it was over $317,000, which is a huge chunk of our budget at Community Shares. So to all the people who chip who don't realize what impact you're making, I promise you, you are making a big impact. It's wonderful.
That's amazing. And so how long has the CHIP program been going on?
Well, the CHIP program is actually the original foundation of Community Shares. So Community Shares started with the CHIP program.
Okay.
And we actually still have a couple of volunteers who were there at the very beginning. And this is a great story about Community Shares. Our original fundraising campaign was done to raise money to bail people out of jail who had been protesting the Vietnam War. And so we've long had a strong activist history. The function of collecting money at the checkout was the very first way that we raised money. And one of our longtime volunteers and donors, Candace Weber, talks about riding her bicycle around to all the different little stores that were collecting the change in the cans and collecting it all and putting it all together to work to help people get out of jail who had been protesting. So we have a long history in this community and a long history of activism.
Yeah, just action. People of action. I like that.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's how you get stuff done. That's how
That's
you make
exactly
change.
right.
Tell us a little bit about, you're coming up on 50 years, like you said. I know we're going to talk about the big share, which is the thing of the moment here in just a little bit. But what does that 50 years mean? And what do you think that means to the members of community shares, to the organization, to the staff, to everybody that's involved?
I think that what it also indicates is the staying power of the type of work that we do. The fact that we are so committed to our members makes them engaged in what we're doing and committed to what we're doing, committed to ensuring our success as an organization. So I guess that's what I primarily would say to answer that.
It's an amazing accomplishment for having that longevity, that continued pursuit, regardless. I'm sure over the years, been many challenges, many things to overcome, many hurdles, right?
Of course.
But
as our culture developed and as the political system developed and different issues moved to the forefront, our focus continues to change. We continue to be focused on social justice and environmental issues, but we become better aware as an organization, as a culture, about different issues that we previously had not been focused on. So, for example, we support, I think right now, 7 different groups that are working on LGBTQ issues. And right now, a lot of their focus is on ensuring transgender rights. And 50 years ago, people probably weren't talking about transgender rights, but now we know how important that is because, again, the point is to ensure that everybody has an opportunity to enjoy the rights and freedoms that are laid out in our Constitution. And we believe that nobody is able to really enjoy those freedoms unless everybody is.
We're all continually learning, right?
Exactly.
And growing, and that's the organization too.
Exactly.
Now, I know, so you're Dane by Local member. Community Shares has been for a long time, right?
Yes.
So a lot of members, organizations for you in this area, but Community Shares of Wisconsin, so it's across the state, correct?
Mm-hmm. To a certain extent. We are somewhat limited by our own internal capacity with how much we can do outside of Dane County. We do have member groups that have offices in other locations around the state, so that helps us to ensure our reach around the state. We have partner organizations in Milwaukee, and we have groups that are headquartered outside of Dane County. But for the most part, I think because our focus is on groups that do a lot of advocacy work, and this is the capital, and so there's a lot of advocacy and policy work taking place here. So there's more than enough going on in Madison, but someday maybe we'll be able to really grow outside of it.
Well, I mean, there's good work to be done throughout the state, but I like
Right.
having that approach that you have a presence elsewhere, and you have that ability to do it and the ability to grow. You're
Right.
not limited if needed. But you're right. There's a lot going on right here that we need to take care of. It's interesting because we talk about Dane by Local and the name of the organization. And I work for Project Home, also a nonprofit, and a Community Shares member as well. But so a lot of people think, well, why are nonprofits members of Dane by Local? I don't get it. Sometimes the community, that's their approach or their response. So tell us a little bit about what value you see in that and being a member of DBL.
I think that largely because so many of our members are local to the community and recognize and value the connections we make with local businesses and local neighbors. We see the value of being members of Dane by Local, partly for those reasons, and also because of understanding the value of local dollars in local communities, and the partnerships that we develop with these businesses are very important, and with the individuals that we share a lot of the same values that Dane by Local has. And so for us, it's really a no-brainer.
Yeah, we feel much the same way. I'll just say ditto on that.
Yay, good.
But now let's get to the big exciting event coming up, which is the Big Share.
The Big Share.
Tell us about that, please.
Sure. So we are actually coming up on our 6th annual Big Share, and I've been here for every one of them, and it's a pretty amazing day. And I think that what we've all been, I don't know if surprised is the right word, but maybe excited and relieved how much the community comes out to support social and environmental justice groups. I mean, this is Madison, and so you would expect it, but the fact that this Giving Day continues to grow in dollars and in the number of donors. Last year, there were close to 3,600 people that contributed to the Big Share, and that's a pretty big turnout for one day of giving. And I think that what we have found is that people in this community are eager and excited to support these issues. And it's a really fun day, too. We try to make it as much fun as possible. We try to throw in some goofy things and some funny events, and just to keep people excited and to, help people have a good time. I mean, there's a lot of reason to be feeling discouraged these days. But I think that especially in a community like Madison, the people who work in the nonprofits are doing this work sometimes thanklessly. And so this type of an event where we're celebrating the groups that we work with, where we're celebrating the people who come together to advance this work, it's really fun, and it's really inspiring. And every year we get to the end of the Big Share and we're all totally exhausted, but it always just feels so wonderful to be in community with so many thousands of people and so many people who are excited to see the work that our member groups are doing and keeping up with the good fight, because that's what we have to do. We can't get discouraged, and we can take a break. We all have to rest and take a break, but it's important to stay focused on what the end goal is.
Well, and I love the way this event too basically props everyone up.
Exactly.
It's very similar to Dane by Local. It's just bring everybody along. It's not a competition about raising dollars or you're competing with your fellow nonprofits. You're all trying to do it together, and
exactly.
It just brings it all together.
Exactly, and that's one of the Big Share is really a really beautiful demonstration of the structure and the values of community shares, in that's exactly what we're doing. We're trying to prop up every one of these member groups to help them develop the capacity, the skills, and the knowledge to be able to raise money online and to build their work. And so that is, that's a pretty great part of it.
Well, that's really interesting too, because let's say it's a really small nonprofit, small
right.
budget, not a lot of time. They might not have the ability, the resources, the finances, whatever, to basically grasp all of the tools that might be available to them.
Right.
So, because I know you do trainings, you do other things
right.
to help these people. So tell us a little bit about that and why that's
so
important.
So starting in the fall, every year leading up to the Big Share, we have a number of different training opportunities. We always provide training on how to utilize social media in a way to build your movement to raise dollars. We have trainings on storytelling, on graphic design, on how to schedule social media posts, that type of thing. So I think that we also bring the members together, and they train each other as well, because a lot of times they're the experts. And when I think about how many years we've been doing this and how many staff at our member groups have been doing this for so many years, they're now, I would suggest, national level experts on how to raise money online. Because we have people who've been doing this the whole time that we've been doing the Big Share. And so I think that there's a lot of knowledge and expertise from within our membership. And then, you look at small groups. A great example that I like to talk about is Wheels for Winners. It has no staff. It's a totally volunteer-run organization. And last year, they raised they were in the top of how much money. I can't remember what part in the top they were, but they raised like $14,000 in one day.
Wow.
And this is a group of volunteers. They fix bicycles. They do volunteer projects with kids and raise a ton of money online. And so it's really cool. And those are the stories that are so fun. But when we get to the end of a big share and these great stories about groups like that and what they end up pulling off, it's really fun and it's really inspiring.
Shows you what a little action and hard work and
Exactly.
then being kind of corralled as
Yes.
well. Just
Yeah.
rounding people up. You got to do it.
Yeah. I mean, there are other giving days, and our member groups, there are some member groups who participate in other giving days. Like, for example, there's some members, and ourselves too, that do a Giving Tuesday campaign. But I think the power of the Big Share is that it's local, and it's all these groups coming together and working hard together, and we all are working under the same umbrella and the same focus of social and environmental justice. So I think a lot of groups that are doing trying out other giving days, they always come back and say this is the day where they raise the most. And so it's just that power in community, power in everybody working together.
All right, so we've got an online day of giving.
Yes,
The Big
Tuesday,
Share.
March 3rd.
Okay. Now, I know there's always some surprises and some other things
Yes.
you guys keep under wraps, but tell us about some of the highlights, some of the exciting things coming up.
Yeah, well, I won't give away too much, but there is going to be a really cool kickoff on Monday night, the night before the Big Share. Most of everything is going to still take place on Tuesday, March 3rd, but we do have a couple of surprises in store on Monday, so please stay tuned and look forward to that. One thing that we're doing this year that's different is we are moving our headquarters, so to speak, for the Big Share into the community, and we're so grateful to American Family Dream Bank for hosting us on site. We'll be in their library on the first floor. We wanted to be more centered in downtown, centered in the community, so people can come by and be part of the fun. And we'll be doing live broadcasting over Facebook and social media, and it'll be a place for people to come and grab a bite to eat and say hi and be part of the fun. So that's going to be another thing that we're adding this year that will, like I said, bring us more engaged in the community and in the business community as well. We have some great new business partnerships this year that we haven't had in the past, and so we're really looking forward to doing more in our partnerships with the business community as well.
So what's the goal for the Big Share?
The goal for the Big Share, for me, and I'm not allowed to say what my goal is. The official goal for the Big Share this year is $500,000.
Oh,
and I kept,
wow.
and I told, when we had a big board meeting in January where we presented the goal and everything, and I said, well, when I was preparing for this, I was thinking we could probably raise $600,000, and the staff was like, no, shh, just because it's so much pressure to push it that hard. But I just feel like there's so much enthusiasm and so much strength in the numbers and in the great people that we have who are part of Community Shares that I know we'll hit 500,000.
That would be amazing.
That
you know?
would be fantastic.
I mean, and I know you keep raising that goal up every year, but
yeah.
and outside of the money that's
Yes.
raised, what are some of the other goals of this event? Because I know it's a lot more than just that.
Right. And so we officially have a collaboration with the UW School of Journalism to coordinate with their students to help us train, and they have a digital communications program at the School of Journalism. And so the goal for the Big Share has always been not just about raising money, but about developing the member group capacity, because we all know that communications are moving more and more online than ever before and in social media. And when we started the Big Share, we had groups that didn't even have a Facebook page. We had a group that didn't have a website, and I think maybe they still don't, just because they don't think they need one. But point being that the level of sophistication that our members have developed in how to organize online and how to build funds and build support for different issues has grown significantly, and so that's been a really big part of the day.
All right, we're going to finish with that, but we've got to do this first. This is a little speed question and answer that we do on every one of these episodes.
All right.
And we just want you to think locally when I ask you these questions.
Oh.
Okay. I'd like you to give me a local restaurant that you enjoy.
Oh gosh, there's many. Well, I live in McFarland, but I always come into Madison to eat. So, but my favorite McFarland restaurant right now is Palenque, which is a locally owned Mexican restaurant. And I don't know if they're part of Dane by Local, but they're a great family-owned, authentic Mexican restaurant. So I guess I'll stick with that.
Dane by Local membership is not a requirement for your answer.
But
no.
I do like to go to local restaurants.
Absolutely. Okay, what about a coffee place or cafe?
A coffee place? Yeah. Well, I love going to Java Cat on Monona Drive.
One of my favorites, too.
Yeah, they're great. It's a great community gathering place and great coffee, too.
How about a street name?
A street name?
Yeah. Something unique here.
Oh, my gosh. Something. Well, that's Dane. I'm trying to think of McFarland versus Madison, but this is Dane by Local. I can say
absolutely.
Sigel Cow. Now, who's ever heard of Sigel Cow before?
People who drive south of the Beltline on 51.
Right.
I've all seen it. We haven't heard that one yet. And so
good.
I'm trying to cycle around.
I'm diversifying.
Exactly. We're trying to have no
McFarland
repeat answers.
focus.
No repeat answers if we can get that. And then, so the other thing is I wanted to ask you about what is one of your favorite nonprofits in the area?
Well, I have to say one of my favorite nonprofits is one of our member groups, Freedom Inc. And one of the reasons why they are one of my favorites is because they not only provide direct service to survivors and victims of crime and assault and other things, but they also work to develop the victim's capacity to advocate for themselves and to advocate for social change. And so they do this really amazing coordination of services and training for the community. And I just think their model is amazing.
Okay, and last thing, a view or site that's unique to our area that you love.
Well, I love coming on John Nolan Drive off the Beltline and that view of the Capitol around the lake. That's probably what everybody says, but that's one I always try to take out-of-town guests on, just to make sure let's drive into town this way so you can see this amazing view of Monona Terrace and the Capitol, because it's just this kind of breathtaking view. In fact, I have a painting or a image of that in my office too. It's one of my favorite Madison sites.
Okay, great. Thanks for doing that. Now let's get back to the Big Share.
Okay.
Tell us where and when and how, again, please, just to finish up the episode.
Sure. So if you're looking for more information about the Big Share, go to thebigshare.org. And our member groups are all signing up, and you can either search through the different names, or you can look for a specific group by searching in the search engine. And really follow us on all of our social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And a lot of what happens that day happens on social media. And so you can participate in this no matter where you are. And in fact, that's one of the cool things about it is we have people who donate to us from around the world. And so that just goes to show how big of an impact this has no matter where you are. But we have a number of events that we host and will be coming up that you can participate in. We always have a coffee event first thing in the morning, and that's going to be a cargo coffee.
It's a good idea.
Yes, get yourself caffeinated. We have some other events that we're still working out. We'll have an event on Monday night at the new Hotel Indigo, the lounge area there.
And as far as those events and everything, people can find out that information on social media,
yes,
on the website?
On social media, on the website. Yes,
Okay.
we have
Good.
lots of opportunities to come out in the public and join in with folks who are having a good time out in the public or from the very safety of your own home. And you can keep giving donations. Every time I go on to social media and I've been doing this for how many years, I am continually inspired to give. And by the end of the day, it's like I can't even keep track of how many donations I've made because there's so many cool stories and so many great groups working to do such good work.
It's quick and easy to give.
Yes.
And also, right from that platform, to share the information.
Exactly.
Because that's another key piece.
Exactly.
You circulating that and helping
Exactly.
spread the word.
Yes, very much so. That it's not just about giving money. If you have a big social media presence, or even if you don't have a big social media presence, share the posts. That makes a big difference, and that's really important. And with a $5 minimum donation, we hope that most people feel like they can participate. It's really, we have maintained a low minimum donation because we want to make sure that everybody feels like this is a giving day that's for them, and that we don't exclude anybody, or that people don't think, well, this is just a fundraiser for people who have money, and that's not at all true. Our average donation is relatively low. And we do that, and we are proud of that. That, to me, is a success, that it means that we are reaching a lot of people who may not feel like they're part of other philanthropic events.
I always like to say it's not about the dollar amount, it's about participation.
Right, exactly.
So that's what we go for. Cheri, thanks so much for telling us about Community Shares, the big share. We're excited. March 3rd.
March 3rd.
Tuesday, March 3rd. Online, everywhere. Look for
all
it.
day long.
Thebigshare.org. Thank you so much. It's another edition of Let's Get Local. We'll see you next month.
Thank you for checking out Dane by Local's new podcast, Let's Get Local, available on YouTube, Facebook, and DBL's website. Join us next month for more local talk.